Start your day off with consumer advocate Clark Howard on News Talk 1000 WKDE. Herman Cain is up at 9, Mike Huckabee at noon, and Michael Smerconish rounds out the day starting at 3. That's the weekday lineup on News Talk 1000 WKDE.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lucas, Economic Development Director for the community of Alta Vista, Virginia, and host of It's Your Business, the area's new and only talk show on topics such as economic development, urban growth, business expansion, and real estate development. If you work in the Alta Vista, Central Virginia economy, or if you care about the local community, you will love the fascinating topics and our guests on It's Your Business. You'll hear a new show on the first Saturday of each month, and you can listen to reruns throughout the month. Also, if you want to hear the show, you can log on to kdcountry.com, listen to the first show that ran in February, and re-listen to this show today. As the community grows, we're becoming more cosmopolitan. The transformation from a good community to a great community makes for a lot of exciting talk. It's Your Business will explore exciting topics related to Alta Vista and the Metro's future development. First, I'd like to thank First National Bank, Alta Vista and Lynchburg's premier commercial bank. They're the proud sponsor of It's Your Business, and we're pleased to have them on board and, more importantly, in our communities. First National, custom banking since 1908, creating lots of banking solutions. Some interesting highlights this month I'd like to share with you before we get to today's guest. Areva and the Center for Advanced Engineering and Research have announced that Areva has signed an agreement to provide a nuclear power plant simulator to the CAER in the new London Business and Technology Center in Bedford, Virginia. The simulator, a high-fidelity simulation of Areva's EPR plant, will be used for human-machine interface, otherwise known as HMI, and human factor studies. This simulator will facilitate training in and investigation of digital instrumentation and control panels, cybersecurity, and operation of the nuclear power plant. The Area Workforce Investment Board is ramping up business services. The Workforce Investment Board has recently established an existing worker training program to assist employers in Region 2000 who may have need to make some training-related investments in their existing workforce to remain competitive, enhance productivity, or support the introduction of a new product line. Through a grant application process, approved projects can be reimbursed for training-related costs such as instructor-trainer fees, tuition costs, textbooks, manuals, expendable materials, supplies, and computer softwares. Employers are required to provide 50% match to the award amount. For information about the Workforce Investment Board, you can contact Brian Davis at Region 2000. He'll be happy to give you all of the important information. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Mike Davidson. Mike Davidson is the Director for Economic Development of Campbell County, and he's here today just to chit-chat with me about what's going on in Campbell County and perhaps a little bit about how economic development works in our region. Mike, how are you today?
Very good, Megan. Thanks a lot for the invitation. Unfortunately, one of the shortcomings probably in my office is not letting people know as often as we should or as much as we should about what's going on, what we've been doing. So I appreciate this opportunity to come out and have a venue to kind of let some folks know about what we're doing.
Well, it's my pleasure. You know, I get to be the newbie on the block, and so in the 6 months I've been here, people at least are beginning to know that Alta Vista has an economic development director. But we're kind of unsung heroes in some communities, especially for those who've been around a while. How long have you been in your job at Campbell County?
Not quite a dinosaur yet, but I'm going on my 14th year as the Director of Economic Development for Campbell County. It's been a real pleasure, and the years have flown by. It doesn't seem like I've been here nearly that long.
So you've had lots of fun announcements.
A lot of fun announcements.
And I'm sure some disappointing times.
A lot of disappointments.
The life of an economic development director.
That's it.
Tell me, so in 14 years, what have you been, most proud of or most exciting? What are some of the exciting times in your Campbell County economic development history?
Well, I don't know that I can pick out any one particular project and say I'm any more excited or proud of that over any of the rest of them. I think that historically, if you look at Campbell County over the past 5 years, for a 15-year period, for an example, we've had over $272 million in new capital investment.
$272 million?
Over the past 15
Wow.
years, as well as the creation of over 2,000 new jobs over the past 15 years. In just the past 5 years alone, we've had over $40.5 million in new capital investment in 463 jobs. The thing that I'm seeing kind of changing a little bit is that with technology, capital investment continues to go up with projects, but employment continues to go down.
Right.
New technology allows people to be much more productive, and it takes fewer workers today to be as productive as we were 10 or 15 years ago. So whether it was a $500,000 expansion with 5 employees or whether it was a $40 million expansion with 150 employees, I'm proud of each and every one of them that have been able to come into Campbell County and help make the quality of life for our citizens better by providing nice jobs and employment opportunities.
It's so important, and we talk about capital investment a lot in the things that we do, but, you hope you would like to think that everybody understands why capital investment is so important, but tell us all, why do we talk about capital investment so much? What's critical about that?
Well, capital investment is how local governments get their return on investment. It's the real estate taxes from the new buildings that go in, the improvements of the properties. It's the machinery and tool tax that comes in on the manufacturing equipment. They are the taxable things that create the revenue streams into the county. The employment side is how the state gets their return on investment. As employees, new employees are created or new jobs are created and employees get jobs and they pay the Virginia income tax. That's how the state gets theirs. So, and I'm very proud to say that in Campbell County we do have the incentives that we offer our industrial prospects are available to both new attractions as well as existing businesses in Campbell County. They are performance-based. The performances are the capital investments that's created in the new jobs, and we do see to it that the companies do what they say they're going to do. And so far, all of our projects have come through, with the exception of one small one about 12 years ago that went bankrupt as owners before they finished. But the citizens of Campbell County are getting the benefits of the investments that Campbell County has made in providing incentives to companies to expand and grow.
Right, and incentives is a hot topic. Really, it's always been a hot topic, but in the past, I say in 2012, in especially the last 6 months, we've seen a lot of national articles written about incentives and good or bad. Do they help? Do they not help? And people fall on different sides of the category, but I think you and I fall on the side of if not for incentives, we would not have some of the industries that we have. Would you share that thinking?
Absolutely. Incentives are part of the process now. And the thing that we really try to do with the incentives is to find a way to fill a need or fill a gap that if this gap wasn't taken care of, the project couldn't move forward.
Right.
A lot of what we try to do with our incentives is look at the taxes that would be generated by the new projects and find a way to offset those, as well as trying to find ways to provide infrastructure, whether it's water, sewer, internet, telecommunications, whatever it is. We try to make sure that we have the things in place that are going to make the company successful.
Yeah. Does Campbell County incent retail?
Well, we do in a way. We do not go out to specific stores and provide specific incentives to store owners. What we do is we try to put infrastructure in place. Retail needs water, sewer, they need streets, they need all of the other things that are that industry and everybody else needs. We do work with developers developing projects.
Sure.
So if a developer comes in and is going to do a 20-acre, a perfect example would be the Walmart just outside of Alta Vista. Another perfect example would be what's called Ward's Crossing West, which is where Kohl's, Old Navy, all the way down through A.C. Moore. What we do in those instances is we work with the developer to assist them in getting the infrastructure.
Great.
Water, sewer, providing the roads.
Right.
And we don't really give them incentives to help pay for the construction, the cost of the land. It's really only to provide the infrastructure that's necessary for those developments to move forward.
Yeah, that's great. You touched on something there. Cabell County is a big county. What's our square footage? How big are we?
I don't have the square footage, but we're 526 square miles.
Square footage. Sorry, excuse me. Miles, and it's a real diverse economic base.
It very is. Some of the areas up and around Lynchburg that actually have Lynchburg zip codes and Lynchburg mailing addresses well in Campbell County, and it's hard for citizens to drive up and down and see this imaginary boundary line that subdivides one political jurisdiction from another. So we go from being a highly urban area up in the Brookville-Timberlake area to in the southern end of the county and the Brookville and the Alta Vista area and the areas surrounding those two incorporated towns being highly rural,
right,
with low density population, a lot of agriculture going on in Campbell County. We do support agricultural as much as we can too. Most of the things that we've been doing lately with agricultural is my office is responsible and has gone after some grants through the Tobacco Commission to provide some cost shares and reimbursements to farmers on a number of different projects. We've actually gone after 3 different grant programs over the past 6 years, and I don't have the figures handy, but I'm thinking it's somewhere in the excess of $4 million that we returned to the farmers in cost share in projects over the last 6 years.
Wow. Do you want to talk about the medical center? But that, as Liberty grows, there's certainly a big economic engine in the metro area.
Right.
And Liberty, as they expand, they're expanding into Campbell County.
Very much so, and I think that there's still lots of opportunities for the expansion's growth and the spill-off from Liberty University going into the city of Lynchburg, but there's also a lot of expansion going on in Campbell County because of that. And Campbell County recognizes and realizes that as Liberty continues to grow, they're going to be a bigger and bigger part of our economy, and we welcome that. We embrace that.
Absolutely.
Over the past 4 or 5 years, we've seen our residential housing growth go up dramatically.
What specific areas? Are there any?
It's areas closer toward Lynchburg, up in 29, closer to Liberty University.
Yeah.
The student housing is particularly what's driving a lot of that growth.
Oh, okay.
There are townhomes and other homes that are being rented. Well, a lot of times the college students will come in and they'll buy the houses, the ones that are smart.
Yeah.
And then they'll have 2 or 3 classmates join in with them to help pay the mortgage payments, and by the time they get out of school, they've got some investments and some equity in a home that they can sell, and they've made some bucks while they're going to college.
I'd like to say I was that smart when I was in college to do that, but I certainly know parents who've done it for their children, who've gone on to advanced degrees, buying homes in whatever community, wherever they're going to college, and then they just continue to have a rental relationship. It's pretty smart. It's pretty smart, that's for sure. Well, I think that's a neat opportunity, the relationship with Liberty, and that we, as a county, have the opportunity to embrace them as they move forward. And I think that in the future, there might be a continuation of a march in this direction along 29, although we're 30 miles away from that in Alta Vista, but still it's all part of the community, and we will, I think, benefit from that growth and expansion as time goes on.
Well, I think a lot of the opportunities that exist for the Alta Vista community as well as entire Campbell County is to recognize and realize that there are lots of people that come into Lynchburg because of Liberty University, friends of the students, parents of the students, grandparents of the students. And the thing that we've got to learn to do and to capitalize on is to figure out how we market ourselves so that we make sure that those folks that are coming in on visits to Liberty, I have no idea how many students that they've got that are taking online classes that
huge.
Once or twice a year have got to come to Lynchburg for some classes. And it's up in the tens and tens of thousands of people that do these online programs for them. My department is responsible for tourism in Campbell County. While we certainly realize we're not a destination site, we don't have bush gardens.
Right.
We don't have
but could we build one?
It might be nice, but I'm not so sure.
Is that agriculture?
Could be. But we do recognize that we've got nice museums.
Yeah.
We've got several small wineries, farm wineries in the county. We've got parks, we've got recreation, we've got wonderful sites.
We've got rivers, creeks.
We've got rivers.
Beautiful water, clean water.
Trying to tag on and getting the folks that are coming into Lynchburg to look at what's in Campbell County as well.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we do. We, about 7 years ago, developed a tourism brochure. And so we distribute the tourism brochure to all of the hotels that are within the area. We also provide boxes of the brochures to Liberty University so they can put them in their student centers and in their welcome packets for the new students that are coming into the county.
When you do that and you say tourism for the county, does that include Alta Vista? Like when we have Avoca and some of our tourist attractions here?
Yeah, Avoca is primarily displayed in our tourism brochure,
great.
and we've worked with them over a number of different years and projects that we have.
Fantastic. How diverse is our economic base? Do you have, we talk in terms of targeted industries, and you and I have talked offline about this, and it came up in an earlier meeting that I had this week. But, targeted industries for Campbell County, for Alta Vista, and even for the region. What are your targets, if you were to identify them?
Yeah, our target sector list is a little bit old right now. It's probably outdated. We worked with Virginia Tech about 6 years ago to do a target market study, and they identified areas for us. The Great Recession has come. The world's changed. Offshoring came up. Onshoring is back.
The new buzzword.
So I think that one of the things that I'm pleased that we're a partner and a participant in is the Reaching 2000 Economic Development Council is looking at trying to get Virginia Tech again to look at doing, and if we can come up with the funds that would be necessary, a new target sector study.
Yeah.
When we did our last one, let me back up. One of the things that has made Campbell County so healthy, and we survived the Great Recession very, very well. And it was simply because we were so diversified. There were a lot of localities across the U.S. that suffered greatly.
So many.
But I think one of the biggest gauges of the success and stability of Campbell County is the unemployment rate.
Yep.
So if you look at 2010, when the Great Recession really began to hit and began to have impact, Campbell County's average unemployment rate was 7.38%. That's when the national rate was 9.75. 2011, we were at 6.48, when the national rate was at 8.9. And in 2012, just this past year, we had an average unemployment rate of only 5.89%.
That's great.
I think folks need to realize that 4% unemployment is considered full employment.
Right.
So we did very well. And in 2012, the national unemployment rate was 8.5%. When we look at the diversity of what's in Campbell County, I mean, we go from everything from textiles to wood products to automotive products to pharmaceuticals to electrical, all the way up into nuclear power.
Right.
And our region, which Campbell County is in the Reaching 2000 area, we have 20% of the world's nuclear manufacturing engineers located here in this region. So nuclear power is something that is very important to us. As you had mentioned in some of your announcements, with B&W developing their new modular reactor, that's a wave of the future. And I think that as the nuclear renaissance really comes back and begins to take hold again, those modular reactors are the ones that are going to be doing the best.
Tell me why nuclear developed in this region? I mean, we
were one of the first ones, and when I say we, Campbell County was one of the first ones that back in the 50s and 60s were willing to work with the companies as they developed nuclear power for the Navy.
Yeah, okay.
So Babcock and Wilcox, located in Campbell County back in the late 50s, early 60s, to develop and build the nuclear propulsion plants for the submarines.
Okay.
And they went from the submarines to the other surface vehicles. So we have become used to, and because we've got such a long-standing history with nuclear power, we know that, there are dangers out there, but we also know that it's very, very safe.
Right.
And when managed properly, it's no problem. So we've got a long history of having a nuclear presence with no problems whatsoever.
That's great. I didn't know that history. So what's new and upcoming for Campbell County? What can we see in the future? Are you seeing an uptick in requests for information? You have some good projects. I know all projects are confidential till they're announced, but are you seeing an upswing yet?
2012, we began to see an uptick in prospects and projects coming about where people were looking for things. And one of the things that I need to backtrack, talk just a little bit about marketing as we get into this conversation. Our website is our premier marketing piece.
Yep.
As is, 30 years ago, or actually 15 years ago when I started in this business, to be in the industrial business, all you had to have was a cow pasture beside a railroad track.
Yep.
And if you had a railroad track, and a cow pasture, you could call it an industrial park.
Yep.
That point in time, companies had whole departments that were their real estate departments, and they were willing to trounce and go out and look at 200, 300, 400 different sites to begin the process of eliminating and narrowing it down. That just doesn't happen
No,
anymore.
not anymore.
The consultants find out everything about you on the website, and very seldom do you get a site visit the way it was done 15
Oh yeah,
or 20
times
years
have
ago.
changed. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you got a good website now. Did I hear you say you were going to do some redevelopment on your website?
We just finished another redesign.
Okay.
Our website's been up and running for about 6 years now, and this is our third redesign, and we
Okay.
just redesigned it. Every 2-3 years we go in and refresh it, make it look a little different, find ways of being able to put more additional information
Right.
on it that folks are looking for to try to keep it relevant.
Yeah, I tell people 80% of the site selectors get all their first round information from the internet. And if it's a economic development agency, if we don't have good, strong economic development centered websites, we don't even make the list to be cut off. We're just swept aside. So marketing is critical, and economic development marketing is critical, and partnerships are just as important.
Well, one of the other things that we found to be successful in marketing recently is what we've moved into. Of course, we've done all of the traditional stuff. We've done print advertising. We've done web advertising as well as Google phrase marketing.
Yep.
And that's where you pick out a term like industrial development. You pick it out. There were tons of them. And you pay Google
Yeah.
a fee. It may be 2 cents, it may be 5 cents, it may be 50 cents. But you pay Google and you say, I want to be the first one you send a search client to when they type this word in.
Yeah.
And so we've had tremendous amounts of success with our print and our web marketing from the perspective that we've always tracked, and all of our advertisements has been aimed at sending people to our website.
Yeah.
So if we ran an advertising in Site Selection magazine, we would track the hits on our website the month after that ad ran. And from a marketing perspective, we were 1,000% successful because we would quadruple the number of hits that we got to our websites from the advertising we've done. The unfortunate thing is those hits didn't always turn into site visits.
Right.
So what we've started doing now, we have a relationship with a consultant out of Texas. And the world's changed enough to where probably 80 to 85% of all industrial projects now come through a consultant.
Yep.
So we have a relationship with a consultant, and as he sees his clients, we get a email back of this client's looking for X number of square foot. It's got to be by a railroad. It's got to be by a river. Whatever
Right.
the requirements are.
Right.
And
Lots of
so-
power, clean
Yep.
power, green power. Yeah. Yeah.
So from that, we've seen a big
Good.
increase in the number of inquiries we've had in 2012, and it continues to pick
Great.
up in the first few months of 2013. So that shows signs that the national economy is doing well, that people have wanted to expand for some time and do more, and they finally are saying, it's time to move.
Right.
So we're very excited and optimistic about things that are coming.
Yeah.
At the present time, I've got 18 different projects and prospects that I'm working with. Now, will all 18 of them come to fruition? No. But if I can get 4 or 5 of them, that would be great. And one of the things that we've found over the years, too, about 60 to 70% of all expansion projects that occur come from existing businesses.
Yep.
It's
It's critical, and the existing business relationships are so critical, which is, we were talking the other day with the Alta Vista Economic Development Authority. Part of my role and part of my 6-point component plan is business retention and expansion. And so
Yep.
it's so critical to what we do, because those industries are invested here, they want to be here, but they have suppliers and people and customers that they can let us know if they're interested in expanding.
Yeah. And they're also the ones that know that the roads we have are fine, even though Route 29 and 460 aren't interstates. They
Right.
still know they're good 4-lane roads, and,
Right.
and the traffic comes. One of the things that keep getting bounced out as new inquiries come in from folks is they want to be by an interstate.
Yep.
And if that's on their list, then we're automatically eliminated
Yep.
because we're not by an interstate. We have no ability
Yeah.
because they don't come visit anymore.
Right.
We have no ability to go and tell them, well, Route 29 or Route 460 are just as good as any interstate
Right.
you're going to find, because now every county in every state in the U.S. has an industrial park, and those that are by interstates
get priority. Yeah, we've got people and we've got proximity, and we've got good logistics for Alta Vista and for Campbell County, for industries looking this way. But you're right, they have interstate. If they can get beyond that and they can balance it out with, well, they may not be on an interstate, but they've got, we have inexpensive power, inexpensive water, or we have the workforce that they want. Sometimes they'll trade that off, but you still have to get through that first hurdle.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a reason to disqualify us.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited and so up on having a relationship with consultants, because you can have the relationship with a consultant. You can bring the consultant to your community
You
and
betcha.
let the consultant see where you can't bring every prospect.
Right.
And so, if I could double or triple my marketing budget right now, the first thing I would do, I would go out and find another consultant to get some relationships with, so that we would have twice the impact out there from a consultant perspective.
Well, hopefully that's something that you and I can work on in the future, identifying some consultants that are friendly, are interested in understanding our communities. Folks, I think, need to understand, and a lot of people don't, that the way the economic development works for us is we're part of Region 2000, we're all part of Virginia Economic Development Partnership. The partnership gets requests, and they send that to the regional organizations like Region 2000, and I don't know all the names of the other regions, but there's a bunch of regions of Virginia. And then those regions, in this point, Region 2000, then sends it out to all of us economic developers in the region. And then we review, and if we can submit a site, we submit. But that's not the only way. We don't just depend on that way to get prospects in. We can get the relationships that we have with site selectors and other industries. Those are the other avenues that we fill into searching out and finding those site selectors, finding those relationships, those business and industries. Yeah. Well, I am thrilled you could join us today. Is there anything before I kick you out of here? Tell your website. Everybody should go to the website and visit it and see what an economic development website looks like and what it focuses on.
www.Campbell Virginia, and spell Virginia out, CampbellVirginia.com.
You got it. So if we go there, you can find out the industrial sites that are listed, the industrial parks that are listed, available properties that are listed, announcements, all the statistics that you need for as far as demographics go for industries.
As well as tourism. Our website, when you get to the homepage of our website, it's basically divided into 3 sections. It's Living in Campbell County, which is the quality of life piece that talks about the niceties that are here in Campbell County. It's a visiting Campbell County site, and that's the tourism piece. That's the one that shows you where the tourism, and then doing business. And the doing business is the one that lists our industrial parks, and we also, besides the industrial parks that Campbell County owns, which we own 4, we list privately held industrial parks as long as we can get some contractual commitments from folks on how to list them. And so we're happy to list privately owned property so that folks have an opportunity to see that as well.
Well, Mike, thanks for hanging out with me this morning and being on It's Your Business. We certainly appreciate the relationship, all that you've done for Alta Vista, and the partnership that we'll continue to have from here forward. So everybody, thank you very much. And Mike Davidson with Campbell County. I always want to do that. I call you Mike Campbell. They tease me in the office. But Mike Davidson, the Director of Economic Development for Campbell County, we're so glad you could join us this morning. Thanks.
Thanks, Megan. It's been a pleasure.
News Talk 1000, WKDE, serving Bedford, Campbell, and Pittsylvania counties.
With so many changes in taxes, healthcare, more legislation, and bureaucracy,
you need someone in the media to keep you ahead of Big Brother and big government.
That's why Herman Cain is on your radio.
Big government is not our friend.
Herman Cain still speaks for you and for America.
Our founding fathers did their job. We must be the defending fathers, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness will not mean a thing if we do not protect those ideals.
Herman Cain knows the inner workings of American business, the economy, government, politics, the Fed, and the IRS.
Real life experiences from business, politics, and life.
Now you'll hear him every day, coast to coast on your radio.
Listen to Herman Cain every weekday morning from 9 to noon on News Talk 1000.
Don't you think it's time that your business account made you money? I'm Marion Marshall with First National Bank, and we've introduced a small business interest checking account that earns your business interest. That's right, interest. So for a progressive small business checking account, come to First National Bank today. We'll show how your business account will earn interest, and we'll provide you with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey folks, Terry Hurd here, your host of Into the Blue, inviting you to join us this week for some of the very best in bluegrass from the Kenny and Amanda Smith Band, Daly and Vincent, the Roys, Larry Cordell, Dale Ann Bradley, and many, many more. And as always, we invite you to sign up for the Daily Bluegrass Buzz, your source for all things going on in bluegrass. It's free. Just text the word bluegrass to 22828. Then join us right here for Into the Blue.
Saturday at 9 a.m., Sunday at 8 a.m. on News Talk 1000.
So recently I was out meeting folks working on behalf of the community of Alta Vista, and I like to, when I meet new people, I like to ask them, what do you know about Alta Vista, or when was the last time you were in Alta Vista? And I met this lady, and I said, I went through the introduction to who I am and who she was and what does she do, and we were chit-chatting. And I said, so tell me, what is it that, what do you know about Alta Vista? What can you tell me? And she said, I can tell you that Alta Vista has one of the best Main Street programs that I've ever been a part, ever experienced. And I was so proud of that. Our next guest is Joe Kelly with Alta Vista On Track, who really has been a long-time part of Alta Vista On Track and our amazing Main Street program. For those of you who live in Alta Vista and have been around, you've seen the transformation that AOT has guided us through. And if you haven't been to Alta Vista lately, well, you need to come on back and see how great our downtown is. So, Joe, it's good to see you this morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Megan. Thanks for having me.
What can you tell us about AOT? What do you want to share?
Alta Vista On Track has been around actually for a long time, but it's been a designated Main Street community with the Virginia Main Street program since 2007. And since that time, the town of Alta Vista has committed itself to what we are responsible for, which is guiding a healthier central business core and helping small and medium-sized businesses, just as you're at the level of industrial growth and expansion and retention of industry, essentially concentrating on that area. Alta Vista On Track concentrates on retail and professional businesses and all of those businesses that keep Alta Vista humming.
There have been some great successes. I know that I enjoy lunch quite a bit at the Main Street Cafe, which is part of the Alta Vista On Track area, and there's really just some great, neat shops with the Alta Vista Art and Antique, and jewelry with Miller. So I really commend you all. Really have done a great job with the Main Street program here.
Thank you. We're very fortunate that we've had business people that have been there for many, many years, actually generational.
Yeah.
And then we have new businesses starting up, including a cluster of antique shops that have kind of put us on the map. So including an Alta Vista Art and Antiques, which is a business incubation program of Alta Vista On Tracks. And it's been a wonderful program, and it's been interesting to see people coming to town now to shop. And they're from Raleigh, North Carolina. They're from Baltimore, Maryland.
Great.
They're picking it up on social media, and people are beginning to shop.
I think it's fantastic. You're doing a fantastic job of drawing people in and rejuvenating. But we're going to talk about that. That's really a whole nother show about the amazing successes that you guys have accomplished. And it's not only helping business, creating new business, retail and professional, and expanding and the storefronts and facades, but you do some events from time to time.
We do, and what's the purpose of that? The purpose is to bring people to town and develop and expand community pride, and so we do. We have various events, including an upcoming season of cruise-ins again, downtown cruise-ins.
So what's a cruise-in?
Cruise-in is it's just a very interesting little monthly event. The first Saturday of the month, people come to town with their classic cars, And they park in the downtown area, and people are able to come down and see the most beautiful cars that people are so
fantastic.
proud of. And these are lovely people that actually each Saturday they go to a different town.
Oh, wow.
And so we are on the circuit. So the first Saturday of the month in the evening, you can come downtown and look at the cars, and we have shops that are open. You can have ice cream at the general store, and New York Pizza is there, and Piece of Pie Pizza, and Miller's Jewelry is open and very active. Glenn and Linda Miller are very active in the Cruise Inn. So it's a wonderful way to bring usually about 300 people to
Wow,
town.
that is fantastic. Okay, so the first Saturday of every month, it's in the evening, roughly, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock,
They
what
start
time?
coming in about 5 o'clock.
Okay. And then,
Stay there till about 8:30.
okay, about 5 to 8:30. And what month are we starting?
Starting in April.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Kelly of Alta Vista On Track, it's an amazing program. We are really fortunate to have you and Alta Vista and the volunteers who focus on Alta Vista On Track. And you heard it, everybody. Make plans for the first Saturday in April. We're all going to meet in downtown Alta Vista for the Cruise-In that AOT sponsors and get to see some really amazing classic cars.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks for tuning in and listening to It's Your Business, the area's only talk show on topics such as economic development, urban growth, and expansion real estate development. If you work in the Alta Vista Central Virginia economy, or if you care about the local community, you'll love the fascinating topics on It's Your Business. Tune in and listen to us the first Saturday of each month. Otherwise, you can hear this show and past shows at kdcountry.com. Have a great day.